Hi everybody, and welcome to this tutorial where we're going to draw a tulip. And what I did first was a little bit of pre-study. I see that the petals of those tulips are rounded and divided a little bit. But what also struck me was the way that the leaves pop out of that bulb, and that makes them a little bit more curly. Now, for this study, I did a pre-study on a little bit brownish paper, and this is by Strathmore. It's pastel paper. It's rather structured, I think, and those come in all kinds of colors. So I'm trying these out, but I think it's a little bit much grain, but still, I'm going to try it. And of course, you can also find the real-time recordings of my drawing tutorials, along with prints and much more information on my Patreon page. Here you can also share your drawings so I can give you tips. And by becoming my patron, you will support me in making more and better tutorials. Now, for the setup. As I was saying, I'm using a light blue Strathmore pastel paper. And the setup I do with a mid-gray pastel pencil. What I do immediately is try to draw in the roundness of those petals. And first I draw in the right leaf petal. And you can see here the divider line of those petals, and here in the middle I'm drawing in a third petal. Also, this one has those divider, it's like a ridge in that little leaf. And here in the back you can just see those other 3 petals that are there. And what I also do with that gray pastel pencil is draw in the shadow that is casted inside the flower. And of course also I want to draw in the leaves themselves. And those are not straight. They tend to curl around a little bit as they grow that way from that bulb. And I also here place in the shadows that are casted on those leaves. And let's just draw a second one too. It gives the tulip somewhat more body, and it will make it pop off the paper a little bit better. And I'm searching for what is dark and where are the shadows with that gray pastel pencil. Here on the inside, in between the outer petals, there's of course a lot of shadows too. And once you have this, you can pick up your white pastel pencil and then start searching for the light. Now, the pre-study, the left tulip, you see that the light is coming over my right shoulder and then hitting that tulip. For this tulip on the right side, I've chosen to have the light coming from over my left shoulder. So what I do with that white pastel pencil is search out the light that hits that flower, but I also use it again for the leaves. So that is a beautiful underlay layer of white. So, left is our light source. Now once you have those lights in that tulip, you can put in a little bit of color, of course. And whatever color you choose, it doesn't matter much, because tulips come in so many variety. And this is a little bit standard tulip. So I lay in a little bit of yellow, and then I place over a yellow ochre. Now the yellow ochre I use for mainly the right side of the flower itself, and that is my shadow color, but I also use it on the stem and in the leaves. So for the whole flower I'm using the same colors as a setup. Now I'm taking well, I'm not sure what color the name is, but it is a mixture between blue and green. I use that again for the darkest parts in the flower itself, but also for the inside of the leaves on the side. Now it's time for a little bit of red. It's the standard red, and I want to draw the kind of tulip that is has those little bit of flames in the petals. I love them very much. So they're not even, they're a little bit, well, like they're burned with colors or something. So I simply go over those green parts too, in the shadow parts, and I add just a little bit of red. I do not use the red in the leaves, by the way. I shift over to a light green, and that's the color that I'm going to use for the leaves. Then a very dark green. It's a leaf green, so that's very nice, of course. Sap green, I think it's called. And I use that too for the shadows, for the inside of the leaves, and draw in a little bit of those nerves. And then I pick up a little bit of bright pink. And that bright pink I only use in the light parts of the flower itself. And then the color light blue. Now maybe you think this is strange, but this is the shadow color of the counter light of pink and yellow again. I also use that light blue as a blender stick. So I press the pigments into the paper with the light blue, and it's a very, very nice shadow color. Then I pick up the whites again, and I start using this as a blender stick too. Now what I've noticed is that this paper has a lot of grain, so I don't think it is ideal for drawing a delicate flower. It's just okay, but I think you can see a lot of grain, especially on the darker parts of this tulip, of the flower itself. So I try to get that grain out as much as I can by using that white color pencil. Then a little bit of dark green again for the stem, and this will make the flower pop off the paper even more. Also here for the inside of the leaves themselves. And it's a great effect. Now, just at the final stage, I'm picking up my darkest grey pastel pencil, and with this I draw in the deepest, darkest shadows, and to make every petal stand out a little bit more from each other. So that is a very, very nice and subtle extra drawing out the contours and little nerves in the petals themselves. Then I go back in again with a little bit of white for the counter light. And should you have smudged up your drawing a little bit, just erase this out and then easily put the little rubbles away with the brush. Okay, well, this is my study on the Strathmore paper. You can see a lot of grain in it, but still, I hope you will give this a try and give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and maybe I will see you on my Patreon page and you will become a patron. But whatever you do, stay tuned and I will see you again next Friday.